Welcome back to the channel and thank you for clicking on today's video. This week's video is going to be a little different than what we normally do. So I have a project that I want to work on that involves doing a new sign for my craft room. So we're only going to be doing one project for today. So I have this sign that I had bought. This is a similar one to the one that I've already painted. So this is what it originally looked like. I got this at Michael's many years ago. Let me show you when this was. I want to say, oh, okay, so back in 2021. It was one of their grab bags, when they were $5 a piece. So this is similar to what was on here, although you'll think it looks different, but it's very similar imagery. So what I do is that I tend to paint everything over, and normally if I'm not going to sand it or anything, instead of using white, just as a tip, you can actually use either any version of gray that you have, because the gray will be your base color and it'll actually cover your images or words with a lot less paint, which is better coverage than if you use white. You can also use black, but black is going to, if you're going to paint over the black with another high pigmented color, i.e. like red or even yellow or green, so then the black would work really well. But since I didn't know what color I was going to use, I decided to go with gray. But unfortunately, your girl over here picked French Millinery, and it's a beautiful color. This is from the DIY paints. It's a very pretty color. Don't get me wrong, it's a purple with a hint of gray in it. But when I picked the color, I was like, okay, well, it'll have more gray and a little less purple, and I botched that one so bad. But the issue with this color is that my craft room walls are a green with a tad of blue in it. It's a weird color. So I'm going to repaint this, and my oldest two kids decided that I could either do white or an off-white. So I'm just gonna grab this linen color. This is more of an off-white. It doesn't have any yellow undertone. So if you use DIY paints, this one is actually from All in White Paints. I think I said that. Did I? I don't know. But anyway, this one is from, like I said, All in One Paint. I don't use them very often because this one has a top coat, and I'm not too much of a fan of paints with top coats, because they leave, in my opinion, they leave brush strokes. So, but if you have the DIY paints, this one would be crinoline. It would be a good combination. If you want to know another color for this, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, but I know DIY paints is very popular, so that's why Dixie Belle. There's another color, but I can't think of the name. That would go very well with this one. Okay, so we're gonna paint this. We're gonna add some HTV, and so we're basically going to do a whole bunch of new things, and then we're going to finish this project on. All right, so I'm gonna do everything off camera and then come back with you guys, and then we'll talk. All right, guys, so I've repainted everything, and this is what it looks like now. It's got some texture to it. I don't know if you'll be able to see the texture, but hopefully. I did have to do probably 3 coats, because going from that darker color to this lighter color, it does affect the amount of coats that you have to do to it. And I did give you guys the wrong information. This one was from Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance for 90% off, where the other one that I had showed you is from Michael's, but they literally look like the same image. The other thing that I am going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Let me grab the screwdriver. So we're taking this off because instead of laying this down vertical the way it is, we're actually going to go horizontal, but we'll do this last probably. So we're going to put this on this way, because I found that it just gave me more space to work with. All right, so let me go ahead and set this to the side. And then what I'm also going to do is turn on my heat press, and we are going to do 320 for 15 seconds. So it's already set. I'm just going to use my 9x9 for this project. Probably gonna have to do 2 separate presses. And in the meantime, let's put this further aside, and let's see. Let's lay this down, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and weed off the middles, and then probably I need to make sure that I got what I need to weed off. I have the image in front of me on my computer screen because I did this a while ago and I don't quite remember everything that I need to weed out. But in the meantime, I'm gonna weed off the middles and do that because it's just easier for me to get the middles all out and then go from there. So I just wanted to do a real simple wall project with you guys for this week. Nothing too complicated. Almost like I would say a palette cleanse, because fall is right around the corner. But on the same token, to be honest, I'm not quite ready for fall crafts yet. Who else is feeling like that? It's just, for me, it just feels a little too early. Just for me, that is. And see, when I pull this, I pulled that by accident. It just feels a tad bit early for me. And I just didn't want to bring you guys something that I just wasn't ready to craft for yet. All right, I think that is it. I'm going to actually cut this piece off just so that I can save on some of that vinyl. Or I should say HTV. So let's cut this so we don't save on that. Okay, and I missed one piece right here. And I think that's all the middles that I got. Yep, that's all the middles. So let's go ahead and weed this back. But who is already crafting for fall? I know there's a lot of things on the YouTube for fall stuff, and it's all in the stores. But with me being in Georgia, it's not fall weather yet, you know. And the other thing is, with me, there's my machine telling me that it is ready to go. The other thing for me is that coming from the islands, it's not really fall quite yet. It's still hurricane season, so I'm just like, yeah, we're not just there yet. And I just prefer to craft for that season when I'm good and mentally prepared for it, instead of when the internet is telling me I should do it. I'm going to be very careful with that part because it's wanting to come off anyway. And this is one of the very sticky sheets. Now this design, I got this from, you know what? I think it was from Creative Fabrica. I think. If it wasn't from Creative Fabrica, it was from Design Bundles. I don't remember. It was from one of the two. I've been using those two a lot more lately, even though I am a Design Space subscriber. Sometimes I'll find the design on there quickly, but I've been using those two a lot more lately. So, anyway, back to the holidays. So the palette cleansing is mainly because my kids started school. It's been a week now, but because of that, I'm just not in the fall. I haven't even decorated anything in my house for it yet. I feel like the end of August will be good for me. And the other thing is, I love the fall season. It starts to cool off. It's hot as sin here in Georgia. We're still in the upper 90s. Almost 100 degrees, so that makes me even less inclined to want to do fall crafts. So when I get into my fall seasonal stuff, I will be full-blown into it. I love Halloween. Fall and Halloween, those are my two seasons. But Halloween, yeah, I can craft all day for Halloween. I love decorating for it, and I know Halloween is not for everybody. That's okay. It's perfectly okay. I'm the spooky person. We go all out. Okay, I think that's everything. Sure, I didn't pull anything that I didn't need to. Let's put these magnets back. And then it just says, excuse the mess, but I craft here. So this would technically go down like so. I'm pretty sure that's how this was supposed to weed. Yep, I got it right. All right, let's try to get this as centered as we can. Now I have a rule about using Teflon sheets for everything, even though this has got its own carrier, but I like to protect my entire surface. So we're gonna do that. And then even though I don't necessarily need this, that's too small. Oops, I moved my mic, sorry guys. Let's see. Let me grab the bigger board. I probably don't even need it, but I think it'll be okay. So what we're going to do, let's see how I want to do this. All right, so we're gonna put it right here and then start 15-second count, and I am completely out of frame. Once this part is done, I'm going to scoot it down and start this one. All right, so this one's almost done. And I'm just going to so, and then take it off. And then I already can tell it did not press. Nope, it didn't fully adhere, but let's flip it over and let it cool down, and then we'll check it again. Now wood does take a lot longer to cool off, but it's okay. Now you guys, if you've been on here any length of time, you guys know I absolutely love working on wood projects. But if you don't have this heat press, you can always use the mini press. That works really well. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna redo this, but I'm gonna apply a little bit more pressure because honestly, I did not do any pressure whatsoever. So let's try this again. All right, we're almost done with the second part of it. Put it in there. And then we're gonna flip it over just to let it cool down. All right, it is still pretty warm. No, that's not sticking. So let me flip it back over because you can see the heat coming off of it. You can feel it on the glass. Let's try that. Let it seriously cool off. All right, so I accidentally damaged my project. But I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna fix that because my heat press touched this paint portion, but I'm just gonna repaint it afterwards. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my mini press. It's just a little bit bigger than your Cricut press if you have your Cricut one. And this is just, I bought this one because when I have projects that are this size, it's just easier because of the space that I'm working with than using the Cricut one, because it's, like I said, it's bigger and I can just use that one. And I would be using the Teflon sheet, but I decided that I just want to see what I'm working on since I already messed up my paint. And I feel like when I'm not using the Teflon sheet, my HTV on wood would almost melt, but I have it on relatively low. I have it on the medium setting. And this one's no different than your Cricut mini press. You're just going to continuously move it until it looks like everything is laying down. And what was happening is my edges weren't pressing, because sometimes with the Cricut presses, your middle will get pressed, but then no matter what you do, your edges won't press down. It has like that uneven press type thing going on. So, and then depending on what surface you're working on, you might have to grab your mini presses like this one. So it's handy to have one of these. And I think this one might have cost less than the name brand one. But HTV Ron also has one now. I just bought this one way before they had one available. So I think that looks like it worked a lot better. And I probably should have just used that to begin with, right? It's like you start a project and then before you know it, you're like, oh, maybe I should have went the other route. It would have been quicker. And I keep hitting that. That's why I usually use my Teflon sheet. All right, let's flip this over and then let this cool off because it's going to sweat a lot. Your glass mat is going to have a lot of condensation on there before this cools off. And then once it cools off, we'll peel the sheet. So everything's cooled down. Let's peel this off. Still having some lifting. And you know what could be the issue too? This is a paint with a sealer. Therefore, see what I mean? My project might not want to stick onto that. Yep. So, but we are going to figure this out. Maybe I should have just did it as a warm peel. That would have worked better. Sometimes it works best as a warm peel. See, it's willing to lift everything up. I'm gonna do this again. You're having lots of issues today, and it's Monday, and it's probably why nothing wants to work. If it doesn't work, I'll just peel it off and we'll just do adhesive vinyl. It's not a biggie. It's not that big of a deal. But I'm gonna do a warm peel. Let's do this one over. In the event that you guys have the same issue, and honestly, I'm not partial to whether it's adhesive or HTV. I don't think that's gonna stick either. I don't think any of it's sticking. Yep, okay. Let me peel this off and then we'll reprint this on adhesive vinyl. We'll try that. Now, I've never actually put HTV on this type of paint. And you guys have seen me do lots of paint projects. But this paint, like I said, is the all-in-one, so it has a sealer on top of it. So if it doesn't work, I will be more than happy to repaint this in a regular chalk paint without a top coat. And then you guys will know anytime you have, like, DIY Paints has also a paint that has a top coat embedded in it, and Dixie Belle does as well. So if you guys see, now you guys might know not to do what I just did, because those paints, not to use those paints because it has top coats on your vinyl projects or your HTV projects, that's to say. I'm going to finish this up. I'm just dipping it on here because it already has the texture, so it won't make much of a difference in the paint finish. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reprint everything, and then once this dries, by then we'll be back. All right, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so we went completely left field. I pulled out adhesive foil from Cricut. You guys know I was supposed to be trying to use up this vinyl, and you guys were supposed to be holding me accountable to that plan for this year, but we all been slipping. So I missed a couple middles here. I did do the middles first. So I went in that Cricut bin and decided to pull this one out. This was like the prettiest purple I could find. And it actually cut really nicely and weeded actually better than I expected. When I did the cut setting, I just went under adhesive foil, I think it is. And sometimes I do more pressure and sometimes I don't, but I did not do more pressure on this one because it's actually got big font, so I didn't think it was necessary. And it actually cut very well. And I didn't have too many problems with it, but I could have done more pressure because there were some areas that were a little difficult to weed, but all in all, not so bad. I think for the most part my paint has dried. So let me go ahead and grab our transfer tape and get this transferred over. All right, I think, let me zoom you guys out. There we go. I'm going to use, cut off right about, straighten this cut line, because you guys know I can't cut to save my life. And then I'm just gonna cut this off. What about there? Seems feasible. All right, that'll work. And then let's just peel back a small piece of this, about an inch or so. This backing, just to get me started. And then what I was realizing, whenever a crafter or creator says, oh, this is just gonna be a really quick and simple project, every single time I've said that on, sorry about that, I've said that on this channel, it never goes exactly as a quick and easy project, because something always goes crazy. All right, I think I have just about enough. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this tab to just pull this back. Just lay it down just like that. I don't think I even need that, but I need it to. There. Now this is gonna bother me a little bit. I'm gonna just put a hole in there probably to fix that. Now I'm not going to seal this. You guys know normally I seal a lot of my projects, but since it's just going on my wall in my craft space, I'm not gonna seal it. Plus the paint, usually if I seal it is because my chalk paint has not been sealed. But there it is. What do you guys think? Actually, I think I like this one better than the first one we did. Maybe that's why it didn't work. It was, what's the word that we're looking for? It was Fate that didn't want me to use the other color, and she just wanted me to use this one. So we're just gonna go with that option, that Fate wanted me to use this metallic, because she knew that I have not been following my own rule. And then all I'm going to do next, this is how big is this again? We don't even remember. I think this is 12. This one's 14 and a half. Okay, that's about right. I tell you all the time. Okay, I think instead of me screwing it on, if I can't screw it on, I'm just gonna hot glue it on, and it won't make seriously, it won't make a difference. If it's crooked, my kids or my husband will tell me, girl, you can't measure worth a darn, but it's okay. That is not my area of expertise. So I usually stay in my lane when it comes to measurements. All right. I think we're good. There. All done. If this bothers me, I'll just lift it up a little bit and put it back down. Actually, it's bothering me already. I am going to slice it. and that'll correct the lines. Please do this portion at your own discretion. Don't do as I do. Normally just do as I say. That's the best advice. You don't necessarily have to cut your vinyl piece like this. I'm just doing this to get this to lay down like it's supposed to. Everybody has their own methods, and I'm just gonna do that. There you go. All right, guys, that is it. That is all the things that we were, actually all the thing we was gonna work on today. Let me know what you think of this simple project, and I will see you guys in our next video.